We're going to move on to finally give you a chance to talk about your little Japanese men. Japan are playing Tonga. They're playing them at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. It's in Osaka in the Kintetsu Hanazono Rugby Stadium. Going to be refereed by Jerome Garces.
Right. Good quality ref.
11 a.m. Irish time. Excuse me, everybody. Also, don't at me. This is the only time I can work in.
We work in Greenwich Mean Time only over here. But yes, Japan. What an impressive start. An amazing start. Tonga will be a challenge for them. It's tough to see. Again, the same thing we were saying about Samoa. Like in the context of the game, they played in the mud. Like it was good to see them adopting tactics that suited that game a little. But it's also hard to read into it at all because it's like it won't be that in Japan, in Osaka. It'll be a different dry track which you think will suit Japan. Because
Tonga, of all the Pacific 8 nations teams,
they're bigger.
They're less likely to go that way, to throw the ball around. They're more forward oriented, generally speaking.
Yeah, as historical precedent, they tend to be the biggest of already quite big teams in the South Sea Islanders. They like Tongans tend to be huge, but yes, very forward oriented. So it'll be about, can they set the pace? Can their halfbacks, James Fiva kind of kick them into the right areas, and can they stall this Japanese blitzkrieg? And I suspect the answer is probably not. This Japan side look very well drilled. Some of their set moves were excellent. Even the try, I think it was like the third or second try that they scored up through a switch under the posts.
That was Matsushima's first try.
Lovely. Beautiful, and it was just like exposing the fact that it was the scrum half, but he was that pillar and he was drifting, and it was just a perfect execution.
Everybody understanding where the space was great, but also just they do like to switch the play constantly, and they blew Fiji away last week with just for that first 20 minutes. It was super intense. They would not let the ball die. They were offloading through contact. They were constantly moving where the point of attack was going to be. When the ball came out for a line out, when Fiji scrambled it back and exited, the ball was straight in, super quick, constantly going like a little Energizer bunny.
Yes.
Now they did fade in the second half of that game.
Yeah.
But if they can replicate that against Tonga, it will be too much for Tonga to handle.
So.
If they can maintain anything like the pace that they brought to that Fiji game, they will get in.
Their accuracy of decision making and execution of it once they've made the decision, it was great.
And the sharpness of their wingers. Fukuoka from the Sevens team, and Matsushima's obviously been there forever. They looked really sharp.
Took their try really well. Like
Matsushima got a couple of tries. That little breakaway try off a nonsense Fiji play that Matsushima just controlled really well. Fijians all around him trying to stop him.
Direct toe poked it into the little bit of space that he had for himself and dropped it down.
Leo Messi
just expertly taken. And then Fukuoka as well, the first try of the game was like expertly dotted down just as the ball's landing. Boop. And I love, that's what I associate with Japan, is just techers. Like they're always a little bit smaller, but they're so technical in how they play the game. Even how they scrummage is very technical, but then they sometimes get blown away by pure physicality, which can happen and could still be a picture come the World Cup. That's what I'm hoping as an Irishman it's going to be a picture that we're just going to blow them away physically, because if they set a pace like this, they could be danger for anyone, ourselves included. Like they looked really, really good. Really, really good against a Fiji team that have looked really, really good of late.
Totally.
Like it was a very impressive, it was a big statement to make.
Comparable to what they did to. It was a warning shot that they could replicate something like what they did to South Africa.
Yes.
In this
they
World
certainly
Cup.
have that. They have it in them. They have it in them. Like the way they play the game lends itself to that, because if they catch a team even slightly napping or off the pace in that first half, they're gonna blitz them and they'll find the tries, because they have a lot of moves to expose space.
That said, they were struggling in the second half,
which is a theme that's happened against England in the year gone by, and you've seen that from this Japan team.
And it's probably because they try to bring so much energy to the game from the off, and then they can get out muscled. Do you think the Tongan pack stands a chance at out muscling them?
Maybe. It's tough to say. As I said, like we saw Tonga play a fun game of footy against Samoa in the mud and in the quagmire, and the pitch was so waterlogged that it was forward oriented, yes, but there was a little bit of catch pass skill in there. To be
fair to the Tongans, they were beaten ultimately by Samoa, largely due to a horrific error from the backup 9, who gave away a yellow card, which led to another yellow card.
It wasn't good. What's his name?
The backup 9, Valenu, was he?
Yes, Vailanu.
Vailanu. Excuse me.
No arms tackle after the ball had gone. Oh yeah, and it was question. It could have been red. It was definitely yellow. And what ended up coming of that was another penalty that yielded a maul. That was collapsed. That was another card because it was 5 meters out, and then they scored from the ensuing scrum, which was just game over.
Yeah, it was game over indeed, and they got another try to pad it as well. Samoa, but I felt like Samoa were making the winnings of that game anyway.
True.
Just because they had a little bit more out wide.
Yeah.
But Tonga's forward pack were solid. I mean, they in tough conditions they maintained good hands. They had some smarts in the first half to get that try from a nice little attacking kick.
Yes. Yeah.
And then from there they put it under the jumper when they got into territory. Kicked from deep, and then when they got into territory, put it up under the jumper. And it's hard to see the Japanese defence, no matter how good it is, stopping a Ben Tamifuna carry from a few yards out. Yeah, he's just going to go forward.
And then Sakalia scored a very similar try in the second, just the smashy smash game, bringing it in force in the rain and not being stopped, just doing like an Exeter to Chiefs type thing, just go phase, try.
There's worse ways for Tonga to attack it. I wasn't massively impressed with their 10, James Faiva.
No.
I thought he was loose and missed kicks.
Missed two conversions that would have helped, obviously, like even in terms of a losing bonus point, but would have helped to have them in touch. He also gave away a play that should have been carded really when Samoa made a break through was it Chris Vui made a break and then just tried to link up, put a man in for pretty much a try, and it was a slap down. So that was James Faiva
ended up working.
Yeah,
he didn't get carded.
It's a good subtle play. If you get away with it, then it's just good rugby, I suppose. But he wasn't completely, he kicked a few out on the full as well. He was a bit loose in terms of directing them. They're directing the play and getting them playing in the right areas. I thought actually Samoa got the better of that particular battle where it was so important in conditions like that. But I think this week, for different reasons, it'll be as important because they need to find a way of keeping Japan back and then get themselves into the right areas.
A lot of pressure on James Faiva to deliver.
To be turning those Japanese forwards rather than...
To be fair, that starting 9 from Tonga did quite a bit of kicking himself.
Yeah.
Fisilau, he was quite important, and he was the guy who made that kick that ended up being the first try. So both of those halfbacks, an accurate kicking game, get into territory, try and execute up front.
Well, they want to be able to hold the ball against this Japan team.
Territory and then hold the ball.
Get themselves into a place where Japan have to exit and then hold the ball for an attacking set that can be as slow as they like and deliberate as they like, but really for that first half they want to be weathering this Japan storm by not engaging with it, making it about something else. That being said, I think I was impressed with those Japanese halfbacks and their ability to set that pace so high and be so accurate.
And not to mention any inaccuracy from Tonga, and they might not see the ball until a try is scored.
Exactly. That's the risk that they're running.
Yeah, but my instinct is that Japan are going to go from strength to strength and get this one done.
Yeah, maybe by 15.
Yeah,
that
probably seems fair.
And I'm thinking that too. At home as well, on a dry track makes such a difference as well. Tonga will be coming from the mud and maybe be a little slow.
Not a great frame of mind that so much energy seems to have been devoted to giving out of it. The
pitch
track
conditions.
It was raining.
It was raining. Deal with it. It's not going to be raining this time, and if they get blown away by Japan, I don't know if it will be another group of excuses to respond to.
They just having lost that game. Giving it out the terrain, not quite embracing the decisions to the same extent that Samoa did, and then that awful yellow card. It's going to put them in. It's an intangible, but it just puts them in a more negative mindset. Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that's where they're going to
come into a buoyant Japanese team that are coming off a big win against Fiji, who have romped this comp for the last 3 years. That's a huge scalp for Japan on day one. And it means that their World Cup prep for their home World Cup is still very much going according to the plan, and the plan is to see off this Tongan side with some.
And I'm excited to watch them. I'm excited to get more in touch with and get to know this Japanese team a bit more, because they seem worth knowing.
Definitely. Well, especially from an Irish point of view, them and the Samoans I'm watching intently with their World Cup fixtures in mind.
Yeah, with a worried enough eye. Certainly, if I was the Scots, I might be breaking out in a serious sweat looking at all of their games.
Because compared to the Scots this year, the Japan play a very similar game to what the Scots want to be. Gregor said he wants to be the quickest team in international rugby. I think that's Japan right now.
Yeah,
and
they don't have a Finn Russell.
That's the difference.
Yeah. and or a Hamish Watson.
Or a Hamish Watson. That is a proper difference now in terms of jackling. It'll be an interesting dynamic, that game.
It will. Do Scotland have the maturity to make it about the forwards that Fiji didn't have?
Yeah.
Like, or are Scotland going to try and outquick Japan instead of just, hang on boys, our pack are better than their pack, let's play it that way, let's play an Edinburgh game, as it were. Let's get little Greg at 9. And
it's a good point, because it's you can't really take this Japan team on speed for speed, because I don't see
Fiji tried, and Fiji
are quick, you know. Like I haven't seen a game played at like an international game played at that level of pace that was up for the first 10 to 20 minutes in that fixture from Japan. You don't really see that.
No, you don't.
Maybe actually England against Ireland this opening 6-9 was something similar, opening with a blitzkrieg.
And then just getting that ball in straight away as well. But yeah, Japan were looking elite, and that game between Japan and Fiji was played 2 or 3 notches above the other 2 games.
Yes.
Now the Samoa game and the Samoa Tonga game was in wet, which was
mitigated, and I think it was played to a good level as well. Yeah. Like it's that's where with this Tongan side and with Samoa, we still don't fully know. Like I thought that the 10 looked great. Siutani for Tonga. But Seiteni, looked great, but it was in wet, so you don't know. We haven't actually seen his fallibilities yet in the dry track. Same is true for this Tongan side. We don't really know what they look like when they're not playing. Just a bit of a random anomaly of a game, which is what it is always when it's in a quagmire like that. So this Tongan side now will have to up the pace on where they were last week significantly to match this Japan side. We'll definitely need to bring their physicality, because that's where their edge lies.
Bring it with discipline. No high tackles, low tackles.
That is an issue. Like it needs to be more like even in that same play where Vailanu came in with a dangerous no arms hit. The play itself could have been a try, but it was shut down by who was it? Lolahea. With a big hit on one of the centres. Was it might have been
Leu.
Was it Leu on the wider one? Yeah, and it's like that was a perfect hit from the winger. Got chest into the sternum there. That's what Tongans need to be doing to this Japanese team.
Lolahea himself plays his club rugby in Japan. So
there you go.
That's a fun dynamic.
There you go.
Get him in there. Buzzing.
But you're dead right. If there's even a bit of laziness in that kind of the speed that Japan are bringing means that there could be, and if there's one swinging arm that yields a yellow card,
they won't be able to cope with 14 men against Japan.
Not a chance. So and it's a genuine risk.
Like got to stay 15 on 15 for 80 minutes if they want to win.
They could be blowing by 50 minutes and then suddenly scragging at those Japanese guys could be a bit cumbersome, and that results in kind of just fatigue based errors and yellow cards and losing games.
Yeah, so listen, it was a great start to the competition,
really
with the exception of that awful US-Canada game, which the less said about, the better. But exciting games to come in this week, and this competition is really bearing its teeth as the top class international competition. The third best international rugby competition of any given year, apart from a year with the Rugby World Cup.
Well,
obviously.
sure, yes, but it's probably the most colourful one though as well, because I love the dynamics of the different teams. Like they're all such a different match for each other that it's hard to even preview the games, because you're looking at they did this to that team, but you don't know what the others are going to bring comparatively. It's always a good balance, and fair play to Japan, Samoa, and the US for getting off to winning starts. We'll look for bounce backs from Fiji for sure. One, Canada and Tonga have it up against. Tonga have it up against them this week as far as bounce back ability. I feel like Fiji and Japan are probably the strongest 2 teams in this comp.
Oh, I'm sure that's correct.
Like Samoa look okay, and the US look like they have some bolts to fire too.
And you never know about Tonga either. They could come rousing back into it. It's Canada who really seem to be doing the Italy job of making up the numbers.
I'd imagine they will be propping up the bottom by the end, just looking on all evidence. But we're going to keep our ear to the ground with it. We're going to keep watching the games and going to keep covering them in the weeks to come. But we'll be looking forward to the weekend's fixtures. Thank you very much for watching that video. If you're new here, please like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well, because we enjoy the chat and conversation. Thank you.